All right, everybody. We're waiting for the post notifications to go out to indicate that we are live, so everybody can join us. I'd like to just be on with you for the next 2 minutes before I air a pre-recorded episode. That's right, I'm still sick, folks. I cannot get out of this bronchitis that I have. It's very, very tough. I'm on my way to work. And I have no sick days because I use a lot of them up. So it's a tough one. We may have to do an episode about how do you go to work sick, especially when you have no sick days. How do you tough it out? Folks, I just wanted to point out that this is Have Faith, Let It Begin. My name is Angel. I don't normally sound like this, but again, I'm battling bronchitis, and I like to give you guys 110%. And if I'm below 100%, it's not good enough for me. So what I did was I went back into our archives and I decided to look back and see an episode that was very popular, and decided to pick out another episode that aired in December of 2018, and it's called People Change. So with that in mind, let's get started with another rendition of Have Faith, Let It Begin, and this aired in 2018. So a quick thank you to Gabby Santana. She was our theme song artist who wrote a theme song for us when we first started, entitled Tested. So thank you very much, Gabby Santana. We appreciate your contributions to our show. So let's get started for another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin, Rewind Special due to Angel being sick. Have a good day, everyone. Have faith, let it begin.
Hi, I am Mia. You're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hi, my name is Isabella, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin. Hello, my name is Amari, and today we are back on another episode of Have Faith and Let's Begin.
Hey, this is Freddie, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Don't you see that your faith is coming alive? Don't you see that it's tested every time? He's the one that makes your life divine. He's the one that makes you feel fine. Your faith's being tested.
Have faith, let it begin. Hello, everyone. This is Angel, and welcome to another episode. And this one is going to be interesting. But before I get started, let me just thank Gabby Santana for the use of our theme song, Tested, who was written, performed, and produced only and exclusively by her. Go visit her YouTube channel, Gabby Santana. We thank you again for your support. You saw the title, People Change. How do we begin a topic such as people change? Because we can look at it in so many different points of view. This is the way I envisioned it to talk about today. I'm going to gear this particular topic to those that are going through a change in life. Now, let me be a little bit more clear and detailed. If you're just coming out of high school, if you're just getting done with college, if you're just now getting set up with a career, and you're having a change in your life, know that people change. Things change. When new things come into your life, and it puts things into a better or more into a bigger priority, whether you're having a child, whether you're taking on something new hours, new position at work, a new structure, a new choice of living, a new relationship. People change. Others around you will change. You will change. Let me give you an example. When I met my wife in 2007, prior to being with her, I had almost a routine. I would always try to spend time with my good friend Brian. I would spend time with a friend named Randy. We named a gentleman named Heath. I had a selected few friends that I kept around and always, I shouldn't say I kept around. That didn't sound right. I was always around with. And we always did stuff together as a group. We go out to the movies. We do that, almost like a family. When the relationship started to develop between my wife and I started to put her as a priority. And I would spend a little bit more time with her and less times with my friends. Now, in my particular situation, Randy and Rachel, which is my wife, Rachel, that's her brother. So it was difficult to kind of space out the time. But it was also sometimes easier because since he was related to her, if there was a family outing, I'd be welcomed, and then it would be, almost like a double-edged sword. Now, the good news is that Heath and Randy were best friends, and Brian and I were best friends. So again, if I had an event, chances are all of them would be included. But as days went on and months went on and years went on, you take on more responsibility. You start living with the person. You start having more things happening in your life, and your friendships start to I don't want to say they suffer, but they just start to diminish a little bit. It's not because you don't want to hang out with them. It's because you just have so many different priorities that you have to put into perspective before you can do the things you could do in the past freely. So that's just my example. And for some of you right now that are just finishing up high school and heading into college, the kids that you hung out with, and you know how this works, the kids you hung out with in elementary were not the same kids you hung out in middle school, unless you go into a private school and you've been in the same class with them. But in public school, as you continue to evolve and change and take different classes and start heading toward your degree, and people tend to go left, you go right. And you know what? We've talked about this before. A lot of it's all communication based. You can keep your friends. Nobody's saying that friendships just go out and they change and everybody just goes their separate ways. What I'm saying is that people change. Now I'm going to get right into the core of the topic. People change for the good. People change for the not so good. People change for the bad. What I've experienced in my lifetime is that there are people that will come into your life or have been a part of your life, and as they see you change, evolve, grow, advance, they start to become envious. They start to become jealous, and they change. Now, that doesn't always happen. Some people change for the good, and they say, congratulations. I can't believe that you're doing this. This is great. Or, hey, I know you're busy. Let's hang out sometime. Let's make it work. People change. Some don't know how to react to change, and they just kind of distance themselves accidentally, unnoticeably. You just wake up and go, man, I haven't talked to John in a long time. Man, I haven't talked to Susie. I haven't talked to, Annette. I haven't talked to Beth. I haven't talked to Brian. I haven't talked to Steve. Just because things change and people change, it doesn't mean that you have to change. I am not perfect. I have had many friends that have been a part of my life who I felt, honestly, I would grow old around with, who my children and their children would play together, and, you all wish that. And unfortunately, sometimes those friendships, they don't stay, even though you want them to. Circumstances plays a factor. Jealousy can play a factor. Distance can play a factor. But if you respect that friendship, if you honor the friendship, if you don't allow yourself to change and forget who those people are, anything and everything will work itself out. Case in point, I have two amazing friends. One that lives in Kentucky. We all know him as Chip. One lives in New Jersey. We all know him as Sigfredo. They live distance apart from me. One closer than the other, one a plane ride away. But we continue to speak to one another, whether it's through social media, or we definitely make it a point to talk on the phone at least 2 or 3 times a month. Sometimes we get lucky and we get 5 to 6 times a month. But we do it. And every time one of them is around my area, they always make it a point to reach out and say, we have to get together, and we have. People change. We all have to also remember that a lot of people don't like change, are not comfortable with change. In our daily life, things change all the time. Some people have a routine for many years, and when that change occurs, it's as if they've been taken off their track, removed from their good place, the safe place, and now in a room of chaos. Everybody deals with change differently. Everyone doesn't like change. You have to learn to respect that. You have to give them a chance to evolve, to grab hold of something that is new so that they can eventually become comfortable in their environment, in their surroundings. And that's the most important thing. But the key factor is this of this episode. People change. And just because they change, it doesn't mean you have to change. For example, if someone doesn't like something that you do, and in your opinion or in your view it was done for the positive, but it had a negative effect on the other person, they may distance themselves from you. They may not want to be around you anymore. Some people do not want to be around me because I walk the faith and I believe in God. And for the record, I've never preached to anyone. And I don't think I preach to any of you on a daily basis. Yes, I mention God. And yes, I talk about how my faith gets me through storms. But I do not encourage all of you or tell you that you must go to church, that you must do this. That's not the way my faith is. And that's not the way I was raised. I believe that at one point in our lives, we have at one point in our lives been to church and we have made a decision whether we choose to go back or not. And I respect all of you for whatever decisions you made. But people will distance themselves when things change. Now, here is where my faith comes in. I believe that when people or friends distance themselves from me, it is usually my way of saying that it's possible that it is not meant to be a part of their life. My microphone just hit my chin, so I apologize. I've always been raised to say that when people want to be around you, it's a blessing. They like you. They want to be around you. They make you feel comfortable. When they distance themselves away from you, it doesn't mean that in hindsight you did something wrong. Maybe there's just something about their comfort zone that doesn't mesh well. Maybe there's not a connection. Maybe they feel that you didn't connect with them. That doesn't mean you give up. You still reach out. But after a certain amount of attempts, after a certain amount of frustrations or miscommunications, maybe it's time to move on. The hardest thing for me is structure, believe it or not. I have always been have had a lot of struggles with keeping myself organized in social events, not organized in bills or stuff like that, but just trying to make sure that I do the things I have to do so I can go out and visit friends and be around friends. I'm not one of those people that can just at the drop of a hat go, oh, I'm going to go visit this person. I got a plan. And again, this is somebody that doesn't really plan much. So when I plan, it means I really have to plan. I have lost friends because of it. I have lost colleagues, friends, relationships in the past because of it. Because I just don't know how to structure myself very well to the point where people assume I don't want to be around them. And that's not true. So again, that's just another example. But the purpose of this episode is to explain to all of you that people change. People will adapt. Friendships come and go. Relationships, they tend to stay. They linger. They stay together forever. Sometimes they don't last long. Sometimes they don't last long enough. And when that happens, you have to look forward. You have to realize that things change, people change. I'll leave you with this note. Remember that while you're out in the world, the workforce, social media, you're going to encounter good friends that you are going to lose. And for some of you that haven't lost it, amazing. I commend you. But those that have lost very good friends or in the process of fighting with good friends, don't allow them to just walk away without explaining to them what may or may not have happened. Make sure you understand what they've done or what you have done, or maybe that you don't even know you've done, so that when things change, friendships, stop being friendships, find out why. Don't ever sit back and say, I don't know what happened. Get an explanation. Now, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes people don't want to share why they don't want to be around you. Some people will come up to you and say, I heard you say something about someone, to someone about me, and I know that you're the only one of 2 or 3 people that I've talked to. But doesn't necessarily mean that came from me or from them. Make sure you know before you make accusations. Make sure you know why you're ending or not trusting that friendship, because it's very possible your information could be wrong. Make sure that when you take a promotion and you do it to better yourself, if you think it's going to affect a friendship, talk to that person and say, listen, they're asking me to take this promotion, they're offering it to me, and I know you wanted it, but I don't want you to know, I don't want you to think that I'm taking it over you. They came to me, and I'm respecting you as a friend to tell you before you hear it from someone else. All those things deal with one word: communication. And when you lack that communication, things change. People change. Don't allow anyone to make your change in life feel forced. For Have Faith, Let It Begin. This is Angel. People change. Have faith. Let it begin.
Don't you see that your faith is coming alive? Don't you see that it's tested every time? He's the one that makes your life divine.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. You're going to hear episodes me recording live as my daughter in the background, Ariel, will probably cry. You'll hear background noises like phone calls, and right on the cue, she's starting to cry. Don't worry, everybody. We're going to continue on like never before. And with Ariel in the background, knowing that in the future you're going to hear yourself crying like this, Mama, yeah, say hi to everybody out there. We just want to encourage each and every one of you to join us every single weekday, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Join me, Ariel, my family, and everyone as we continue our journey. For Have Faith, Let It Begin, my name is Angel. Say goodbye, Ariel. Say bye. Bye.
Hi, I am Mia. You're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hi, my name is Isabella, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin. Hello, my name is Amari, and today we are back on another episode of Have Faith and Let's Begin.
Hey, this is Freddie, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.